Hello and welcome back to the Villa View for another match preview as we travel to Ashton Gate on Friday night to face Bristol City. Now I'm actually recording this intro and outro after we recorded the main video, so I know what's about to come. Just a lot of waffle, a lot of moaning and miserableness, if that's even a word. I've noticed halfway through my body language I'm totally sunk into my chair. It's just not a good time. So James, thanks for joining me. We did try and arrange to meet in person to do it like the last one, but schedules didn't align this week. So going back to the usual old setup of a phone call and recording our own ends. There's the one problem that your camera footage is basically filmed on a potato, so it's just audio only from you. So I'd encourage people, if they want to just listen to this preview, that's probably preferable, because it's literally just going to be this shot of me sat in my room. I'm not forcing anyone to watch my ugly face for 20 minutes, so maybe this is just one you can put on in the background and listen to. James, Bristol City, Friday night, what are you thinking about this one?
I don't know, to be honest. It's all a bit doom and gloom, isn't it?
Yeah.
Seriously, it seems worse than almost it ever has before. And we did the fan cams afterwards, and it wasn't as negative as I thought it'd be or horrific, but it was still pretty down.
Yeah.
So, it's a Friday night game. It comes at probably the worst time. I think it's one of the only games on at the time. So it's going to be pretty hectic. All eyes on Steve Bruce, eh?
Yeah, I think there's a game on Sky, because there was talk that we weren't on Sky for some reason. I think we're on the red button, but originally we weren't listed on Sky a couple of weeks ago, and it was moved because of, I think there's rugby at Ashton Gate or something like that. To be honest, I don't care. We're on TV, which is great for us because we're away from home, and most people, only 2,000 get to go away or whatever the number is. So more Villa fans get to watch it, which is great. It's just a shame that we're not watching lovely free-flowing football to watch on Friday night.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm pretty worried for Steve Bruce in this one, to be honest. As I said in front of everyone on Friday, Sky Sports, I don't know, they really need a win.
Yeah.
Really do need a win. It have to be a massive effort to get a win out of Bristol City as well.
I mean, this preview is so probably different to what people are used to. I've done no research. This is so last minute. We've rushed it together. I've got my notes in front of me now, and I've written down Bristol at 8th, and they've got one more point than us. That's as extensive as my research is for this video. But I sort of feel like, and this is probably bad to say, seeing as running a fan channel, producing content with people that watching will care about what we have to say. I almost feel like so uninspired and so like not fussed about Villa at the moment, which is, I think someone said it on the fan cams the other night, that watching Villa is like, it makes them sad sort of thing. Like, and anything else, you just cut that part of your life out if you weren't enjoying it. And as football is this thing that you just have to go through the ups and downs and the ups and downs, and obviously you don't appreciate the highs unless you go through the bad times. And by all accounts, we're not going through bad times. What was happening in the summer, and it could have been much, much worse than it is. Like, moaning about a manager and being mid-table in the Championship is better than what it could have been, and better than what some clubs are experiencing. In our little bubble of Villa and what we expect, what's happening is not good enough. It's not acceptable, and we should, and I wanted us to have been in the top 2 at this point already. That's not happening at this point. It might not happen this season. There's already talk about people, like fans, saying, is it going to be another year in the Championship and all this sort of stuff? And just the whole atmosphere just feels totally flat. And I'm sat here, got all my gear out to record a video and to speak to you about our next game. I just feel like...
Well, you're not like a robot, are you? The Villa View isn't like this robotic channel that comes out. It's a fan channel. So when you're down, it's mirroring the reactions of everyone else, I feel, especially, myself. And what I would say is, if anyone's listening, if Villa is getting you like that down, like you're getting really upset about watching Villa, it's probably not worth it for a while.
Yeah.
Because I don't see how this gets better. It's not like it's bad. It's not like it's incredibly tragic and it's that bad. Villa can still kick on. I don't see how it happens, but that can still happen. But if it's all, if it's really getting you down and putting so much emphasis on it for you, and it's becoming an anchor of sadness, it's probably not worth the hassle on Friday. And it doesn't mean you're not a fan. I think you got to think about your own mental health and stuff like this, because it's a big factor, isn't it? Like you that Saturday 3 p.m, it sets you off the whole, your whole weekend, don't it?
Now we get the joy of playing on a Friday night. If we lose Friday night, the whole weekend's ruined. Happy days.
Yeah. I mean, like as I said, I'm not going to act like it's the worst thing ever, but And Villa do need to kick on. And you look at this match, Lee Johnson, Bristol City, an established championship side, upper tier, decent players. I look at this and I think if you want to be something, this is a match you win, because Bristol City aren't necessarily going to be first or second, but they're going to be the type of team that you need to beat.
Yeah.
And you need to dominate to ensure that you're going up. So a loss here, it's not the end of the world, but Villa really need to think about winning games.
When we played Blackburn and we had those 3 games coming up in a week, I sort of joked. I say joked. I wasn't really joking. I sort of felt like this should be 9 points, and I want 9 points out of this, and I feel like we're capable of getting 9 points. But I'll take 7, draw away, win 2 at home. And we've come out of that week with 4. There's 9 points in our form. We've come away from 4, and there's 2 home games in that. Like, at least you want is 6. Win the both home games at least. And like the Sheffield Wednesday game, John McGinn scores a worldie, but ultimately it means nothing. I feel like that sort of is a bit of a metaphor for Villa as a whole. Like, we're capable of those little individual moments and that spark of brilliance and a goal that someone tweets and gets millions of views on it. But ultimately, we lost the game 2-1. So that goal doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things. For Aston Villa as a club going forward, yes, great goal, brilliant, amazing, whatever. You lose 2-1 and it's just like, yeah, so what? The result is the main thing, really. And I was glad to be there, and I know that we've spoke about it already, to be there and witness that. I think it's probably the best goal I've seen at Villa Park. But if you lose 2-1, I feel like that sums up what we are at the moment, that we have the players capable to do things like that. But ultimately, we're losing games. So what was the point of doing that bit of brilliance anyway?
When time passes and we look back on this period, I think that goal will have so much value for us, because you don't see Villa do. Villa are a decently sized club, but you don't see them get 6.5 million views on a video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is incomprehensible.
It's the sort of goal that football fans as a whole are talking about, because it's that next level. It's the sort of goal that if Ibrahimovic would have scored it, everyone's talking about it, because in the Championship it's not ever going to be as big as that, but it still got pretty big on social media and stuff. Like, there was one account that had massive, like 30,000 retweets on it or something. It's just like, that's next level to what we're used to. But as I say, like, I'm not being harsh on McGinn. I'm not discrediting the goal, and the being there in the moment was great, getting back to 1-1. But you do just sort of look back at it and go, well, we lost the game. So can we stop talking about it now?
Yeah, it is very much like that, because we're stuck in the present. I think, as I said, when time passes, we'll look very fondly on that goal. We won't remember the result, but that goal is going to mean a lot to us. However, we can't fast forward our lives. We can't fast forward Villa. We have to take it a game at a time.
Yeah.
And it's not that the goal's been soured. It's just in the context of everything.
Yeah.
You have to appreciate the results perhaps more than the goal right now. The goal, fantastic. It's something I'm always going to look at. I did come out of that game smiling because I'd seen that goal, and then you remember everything that's gone on, the post-match comments, the negativity. It's not like it sours the goal. It's just Aston Villa. Summing it up in 2 words, Aston Villa. That's what they are. That's what they do. It's the most Aston Villa thing ever. I saw someone say, and it is true. We are proper typical Villa right now. It's not that we've went backwards or we've moved forward. It's that we stayed exactly the same, as we were at Blackburn. It's just back and forwards, one step forward, 1 step back.
So what do you think about Friday then? Now, is this sort of the game that is the other side of classic Villa, that we go and win 3-0 away from home and we go, oh, look, we are good, look.
You know what? It would be proper Villa to go to Ashton Gate and smash Bristol City. It would, and then the next game lose. That's precisely what we seem to do. And hey, if we win, that's really good. As I said, you've got to take it a game at a time. A win makes everything better. A loss makes everything worse. You cannot lose this game. I don't see anything negative coming out of it. I said to my friend Daniel that maybe Steve Bruce does go, maybe there is a change, but I still can't realistically see that happening. And I felt that way with Paul Lambert. It's like, you can't just see these things ending.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Yeah, it just goes on. And will it even be the right thing in the end? What if Villa actually go backwards? It's just, there's so much we don't know. And I'm not saying that we should stick with the current manager. I'm just saying there's so much unknown out there, because who knows? But maybe you got to take that shot. But Friday against Bristol, you got to win, because they're they're a good team. Andy Wyman, we all know him. Scoring goals for fun. Yeah,
we'll come on to Bristol, or the Bristol game specifically. We'll come on to in a little minute. I just want to touch on a a point that was made on BBC WM, I think it was yesterday. Those fans are making an argument that they'd be okay or happy with us losing Friday if it meant the manager was sacked. For me, that doesn't really compute with me to want to lose a game in case of a management change, because first of all, there's no guarantee the management changes anyway. And even if it does, like you just said, this isn't a pro argument of keeping Bruce. We don't know what the unknown is. We could get rid of Bruce this weekend, get a new manager in within 2 weeks, and then lose 6 in a row. And that's not an argument to say to keep him. It's just that we don't know what the flip side of the coin is. So we can't, at this stage as fans, we can't go, yes, make the change, because yes, you could get a Nuno or a Wagner or whoever, and you fly up the table and you get promoted. Or you could go the other way, like Birmingham have done, and clubs like Hull, Reading, who have had good seasons and then drop straight down. So it's just, like you just said, we're stuck in the current time, and you have to just go with that whilst it's happening. And I want Villa to keep winning games for as long as we can, regardless of who the manager is, because I don't support the manager. I support Aston Villa, and whilst the manager, I will support him. I will support his actions whilst he's a part of the club. Ultimately, if he goes, I'll still be supporting Aston Villa. So I want them to do well every game.
Yeah, it's understandable, because if you are dead set on Steve Bruce that has to leave the club, if he has to go at all costs, then the only way that happens is that either Villa don't improve or Villa actively fail. And that comes at a cost. That comes at a huge cost. It comes at the cost of Villa dropping. It comes at, you see players like James Rushton and Jack Grealish could leave this season if Villa don't get promoted. And what about Villa's financial situation? We don't know the ins and outs of that. But if you want Steve Bruce to go, the easiest way for that to happen is for Villa to lose from here on out. You win that argument, but what price have you paid to get there? As I said, I'll support Aston Villa because I'm an Aston Villa fan. The club has always been bigger than one manager. One manager is not bigger than this club. However, if you want the manager to go, the club needs to fail, because that's how the manager gets sacked. That's how managers have always gone. They're just there to bite the bullet for the club in the big picture. And when the club fails, it falls on the manager's head.
There'll be people watching this probably furiously typing out a comment now saying, I'm one of those people that I will happily lose XYZ game because it means the manager goes. And if that's your opinion, that's fair enough. I'm not saying that's a wrong opinion. I just don't personally agree with it, and it's not the opinion that I hold. Changing the manager might not get you promoted this season, so what does that mean long term for the club? But then there's the flip side of the coin, that we make the change, suddenly we're an inspired team and we go and win 10 in a row and we win the league. Just because we're changing now in October, November, doesn't mean that we can't still get promoted this season. So I'm sure that's why people are going, right, let's take the hit of losing Bristol and whoever we've got next, I can't remember, sack the manager, start again this season, quickly build something and get promoted this year. Like, that is a possibility. It's just you'd think the likelihood is the new guy, however good he is at his job, is he going to come in and make a difference this season, or is this for the future? And how does that fare against the future of the club as a whole if we don't go up this year? I don't know if I've made sense in that point. I feel like I'm absolutely rambling at this stage, but I don't know, whatever.
I think it does make sense. I think that if you want to lose against Bristol City, that doesn't make you any less of an Aston Villa fan, if that makes sense. No. Because it's just a different way of thinking. And again, it's something like I can't really respond to, because to be honest, I just follow the team week in, week out. I get frustrated when we lose. I'm happy when we win. Yeah. But it's never that big of a deal for me. Like, yeah, it hurts when Villa lose, but I can't see what happens at the end of the season. And, I made guesses as to where Villa would be last season, and I got them completely wrong, and I was delighted to be proved wrong. Yeah. So I've learnt my lesson. I'll shut my mouth. I'll see how it goes day in, day out, but I won't take that away from other people who are, I wouldn't say more passionate, but people who are more, it hits them harder. Yeah. I'd say when Villa are doing bad, because they so desperately want to see Villa do good, and it's not that I care any less than them. I think it's just, you and me are different. You and other people are different. Me and other people are different. We're all going to have different ways of thinking and processing this situation. So yeah, I mean, if Villa lose, they get closer to making a change, I guess. But we don't even know that.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the usual formula, isn't it? That if Villa lose, they get closer to making a decision. But hey, do you trust Villa to make the right decision?
Do you get rid of the manager? Do you keep him? Like we just talked for, I don't know, 10 minutes about the different implications of not going up and staying down, and it's just I don't know what to say anymore. I really don't.
It is frustrating though, isn't it? Because you will get people who will latch onto things you say, and yeah, they're passionate about Aston Villa, but you don't need to be firmly in either camp, like, because there are two camps. You don't need to firmly be in either of those. So you just move on, you move forward, and you take each game as it comes. And I'm not sitting here saying Bruce out, but I'm not sitting here saying Bruce in. I'm not sitting here as well, slowly taking in everything the club wants to feed me. I do want to fight back at some point. I do want to push back. But, you have to be realistic about these things. I on myself, I have a huge platform. I'm privileged to have that platform. But I myself can't affect that type of change. That is a top level change that needs to come from the highest places. So you have to be realistic. And yeah, if you want Steve Bruce out that much, there are ways you can affect that change. But arguing with other fans probably isn't that change. And if you want Steve Bruce to stay in, arguing with other fans isn't going to help that change. The only person who can affect that change is the 11 people on the pitch and the manager, which is crazy.
No one really knows what's going on. No one can change what's going on within reason, unless you're going to do massive protests. You're not going to change anything. I remember I'm absolutely rambling now. I don't know what this video is anymore, but I think Greg Evans or one of the journalists tweet something like, there was a vocal portion of the home crowd that sang Bruce, support for Bruce, but then there was Bruce out chants at an away game. So even like in the ground of the fans that we've got, the 30,000 that go, the away games are singing Bruce out, but the home games are singing Bruce in. Like there's just no. That's the thing that I don't like the most, actually. That the manager problem, this manager situation is splitting the fan base 50-50 pretty much. And you could argue over the weeks it's turned more on the Bruce outside, but there's still this divide and this argumentative nature that if you're Bruce out now, James, that I have to sit here as Bruce in and argue against it, or vice versa. If I'm Bruce out and you're Bruce in, you have to come to me and say, no, this is why you're wrong. And I don't like that. I don't know what the point of that is. I just want to watch Aston Villa play good football and win football games. That's all I'm interested in. I keep coming back to it, but I feel stupid sitting here running a fan channel and doing content for people and almost acting like I'm not bothered about it. Because I am bothered about it, just not in the same way that other people are. I don't. Yeah,
it's frustrating.
Like I just said, I don't know what this video is anymore. Like we've called it a match preview for Bristol, and we've been recording for 31 minutes, and we've barely talked about Bristol. It's just been absolute ramblings. Neither of us know what's going on anymore. I'm sat here on my own in my bedroom, just like, what is going on now?
I did try to speak about Bristol, but I think you wanted to vent.
I just don't know anymore. I want this situation resolved in whatever way that is. I either want Steve Bruce to go on a massive winning run and we get promoted, or we lose a game, they get rid of him, someone else comes in, and hopefully that works. I just want something positive to come from this season, and hopefully it's not too late. We do have to go on a bad run for that to happen, and if that outweighs the cost of promotion, then I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. I just want to end this video now.
Do you want to do a bit of Bristol? Aston Villa have had to rush and gamble, and it's not worked out, to be blunt. I mean, you can say how close we were last season, but it didn't happen. So here we are.
Yeah, that's last season though. Last season's failure isn't an excuse to not be as good this year. If anything, it should be a motivator to not get into that position again. But
then you have to ask, are Villa good enough? Because they did do wonders and miracles last season, last minute goals, to win games, not to draw. A lot of individual talent, just pulling everything out of the bag. Can you do that for 2 seasons straight? And the answer, more often than not, is no.
Let's just end this video. What's your prediction for the game? What's your scoreline? I'm just bored now. I'm done. I'm done, James.
I think it's going to be a 1-1, and I don't think that'll be impetus for any change to happen. And I think, the tide is turning now. It's getting negative. We didn't need to be so negative, but it is turning negative because we're not doing the things that Aston Villa should be doing. And that's looking at least competent.
Yeah.
So 1-1, and I think it'll be a bit of a moany one. I don't think we'll have any reason to celebrate it. I think we'll blow a lead, and that's Villa.
Yeah, I've just had a look up in my monitor as well and noticed I'm so slouched over now than I was when I started this video. I just feel like my body language just totally flopped during this last half an hour. I'm going to go... I was tempted to go for a draw, because I think that's what will probably happen. But just for fun, I'm going to say we're going to win. Just to put a little smile on my face during this miserable half an hour.
Well, I hope we do win. Everyone, I really do hope we win. I really hope we have something to really take home, because we did when we beat Rotherham and then it went away. But beating Bristol City, I think that'll be a really positive sign.
Yeah,
I don't know though. I don't know, Daniel.
I'm going to go for a sneaky 1-0, but I'm fully expecting a draw or maybe worse. But I don't want to go there. All right, let's end it. I'm done. I'm so done with this video. I'm staring into a camera on my own, just like, what am I on about? I don't know if I made any sense in that video either. Like, I've just absolutely rambled.
Thank you very much for having me on, and I guess we'll catch up one day.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be back at some point to do the odd bits and pieces. But yeah, thanks for joining me. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed anything that we've just rambled about for the last half an hour or however long this video has been. Personally, I don't feel like I made much sense in that video. I feel like I've just rambled and waffled on, and it's weird staying into this camera whilst you're on your own and knowing there's not going to be anyone else on the video. Like, this whole shot's just been me, and I'm just staring down to this camera trying to make some semblance of a relevant point, and I feel like I'm just sat here waffling and not knowing what I'm talking about. If you have enjoyed this video, leave a comment, let us know what you thought. Like the video as well. Please subscribe to the channel. I think we're almost at 13,000 subscribers now, which would be a lovely little milestone to hit. Leave your predictions for the game and all the usual bits and pieces. Apologies that this video is a little bit different to what you usually expect from us as well. Obviously, if you aren't even listening to this, it's already a little bit different instead of sticking us up on the TV and watching it. But yeah, just feels a little bit deflated and uninspired at the moment, and we need a Villa win to pick us up again and get us going. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another one? Click one of the video options on screen now, and if you don't mind, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.